The numbers keep changing, the forecasts keep shifting, and if you re-frustrated by that, I understand completely. But here, what hasn't changed. A major winter storm is moving through the south and southeast. Ice and snow are falling across multiple states, and the impacts are going to last for days. What we re-seeing on the ground this morning tells us everything we need to know about how this system is actually performing. Central Arkansas is buried. 4 to 5 inches of mixed sleet and snow in Bryant, 2 to 3 inches of powder in Harrison. Little Rock seeing heavy sleet. These aren't projections. This is what already happened. And still coming down. Memphis started with snow overnight, 3 inches accumulated, then the transition came. By 7:30 this morning, heavy sleet. The sound alone is enough to wake you up. Temperature 14 degrees, wind chill 1 below. The sleet continues through midday before potentially flipping back to snow this afternoon. But here's where it gets interesting. Drive 30 miles in any direction from these hard-hit areas, and conditions tell a completely different story. Nashville woke up to nothing. Radar showed the city covered. Yet as of 7 in the morning, not a single flake reached the ground. Residents checked their windows, checked again, still nothing. By 7:15, light snow finally started. That delay matters. Every hour without precipitation is an hour of accumulation you don't get. Chattanooga saw the opposite problem. Snow falling heavily in some neighborhoods, 20 minutes away in neighboring towns, completely dry. Ooltewah getting good accumulation, Bradley County seeing snow pile up. But Chattanooga proper started later. These microclimates create wildly different outcomes even within the same metro area. Kentucky sits and waits. Bowling Green reporting nothing hitting the ground mid-morning. Eastern Kentucky at 12 degrees watching the sky, hoping this doesn't turn to freezing rain like some models suggest. The cold is there. The moisture is supposed to be there, but they were not connecting yet. Northwest Georgia didn't have to wait. Freezing rain started before sunrise, sleet mixing in, power already flickering in some areas. That's ice building up on lines before the main event even arrives. The Carolinas remain calm, for now. Fayetteville sitting at 33 degrees early morning, dropping to 32 by afternoon. Laurinburg watched temperatures fall 7 degrees in 2.5 hours, 42 down to 34 between 5:30 and 8. The cold air is advancing, wind picking up, precipitation holds off until after dark, then it begins. So, what's causing these dramatic differences? Why does one town get hammered while another 30 miles away sees nothing? 2 factors: dry air near the surface and the warm nose aloft. When radar shows heavy precipitation but nothing reaches the ground, you are dealing with a dry layer near the surface. The snow falls from the clouds, evaporates before it hits. Eventually that layer saturates. Then snow begins. But you've lost hours of accumulation time. Nashville is the perfect example this morning. The warm nose is more complicated. Between 4,000 and 8,000 feet, there is a layer of above freezing air. Models have been inconsistent about how far north it extends. Early runs kept it south of Interstate 40. Recent runs push it northward. That layer determines everything. If snow falls through a thin, warm layer, you get sleet. If it falls through a thick, warm layer, it melts completely, then refreezes on contact with the surface. That's freezing rain. The difference between the two is measured in hundreds of feet of atmospheric depth, but the impact on the ground is enormous. Memphis proves the point. The city transitioned to sleet, not freezing rain. That's actually favorable. Sleet creates travel problems. It accumulates. But it doesn't coat power lines the way freezing rain does. The weight can still bring down ice-loaded branches, but the risk is lower. Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky are where the battle happens now. That warm nose is trying to push north. If it succeeds, areas expecting all snow deal with mixed precipitation instead. Less snow, more ice. Higher outage risk. Current observations suggest the warm layer is advancing but struggling. It's not winning everywhere. That gives me some confidence that Middle Tennessee sees mostly snow with periods of sleet rather than extended freezing rain. But this is close. The National Weather Service Nashville office is updating frequently for good reason. Let me break down what's coming for each region through tonight and into Sunday. Arkansas and Oklahoma got hit hard and fast. The heavy precipitation is mostly done. What fell is staying. Temperatures remain well below freezing through the weekend. Roads are impassable, period. This isn't the time to test your driving skills. Emergency services are overwhelmed. Tow trucks can reach everyone. If you get stuck, you wait, possibly for hours. Memphis through northern Mississippi continues with heavy sleet through midday. If the warm layer weakens this afternoon, as expected, transition back to snow is possible. Total accumulation by tonight, 6 to 10 inches combined sleet and snow. Ice underneath, quarter-inch or less. Power outages are possible. The weight of wet sleet brings down limbs, but the risk is lower than it would be with sustained freezing rain. Middle Tennessee faces uncertainty. Nashville, Murfreesboro, Cookeville, the forecast hinges on that warm nose. Stay south, you get 4 to 7 inches of snow. Manageable. Push north, you get periods of sleet or freezing rain mixed in. Snow totals drop. Ice potential rises. Based on current trends, I lean toward mostly snow with sleet mixing in. Not ideal, but better than freezing rain. Watch for updates. This could still shift. Chattanooga south through northern Georgia is the mixed bag. Snow, sleet, freezing rain all on the table depending on your exact location and the timing. Valleys typically stay colder. Higher elevations might see more frozen precipitation. Ice accumulation is the primary threat, quarter to half-inch possible in some spots. That brings down trees. That takes out power lines. If you haven't prepared yet, do it now. Charge devices, fill bathtubs, find flashlights. East Tennessee from Knoxville north stays cold enough for all snow. The question is moisture. How much makes it that far inland? Current thinking, 3 to 6 inches. Northern Valley areas might underperform if dry air persists, similar to what Nashville experienced this morning. Kentucky along and south of Interstate 64 watches that warm nose carefully. Lexington and the Bluegrass should stay cold enough for snow, 4 to 8 inches depending on location. Southern Kentucky near the Tennessee line is marginal, could go either way. The Carolinas are next tonight into Sunday. The system reorganizes offshore and strengthens. Raleigh, Charlotte, the Triad, snow starts late tonight. Heavy at times overnight into Sunday morning. The European model has been more aggressive than the American models, splitting the difference, 6 to 10 inches for much of central North Carolina. The Piedmont could see higher amounts if snowfall rates intensify. South Carolina into Georgia along and north of Interstate 20 has winter storm warnings in effect. Columbia, Greenville, Athens, snow begins overnight, 4 to 8 inches likely. The southern extent of significant snow remains uncertain. Atlanta sits on the edge. Current thinking, 2 to 5 inches. A 50-mile shift in track changes everything for the city. Virginia from the Shenandoah Valley through Richmond gets hit Sunday. Snow develops Sunday morning, continues through afternoon. 4 to 8 inches in valley locations, possibly more in the mountains. Temperature trends matter here. Charlottesville Airport hit 9 degrees this morning, colder than forecast. If that pattern continues, it means less melting and higher snow ratios. Good for accumulation, bad for everything else. The Mid-Atlantic and Northeast watch for Monday into Tuesday, but that's 3 days out. Models disagree on the exact track. Too early for specific numbers, the pattern supports a significant coastal storm. Whether it hammers the I-95 corridor or stays offshore is still being determined. Now let us talk about what you should be doing. Arkansas, Oklahoma, West Tennessee, you are in it. Stay home, period. Don T. Drive. Emergency services can to help everyone at once. Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, you have a few hours if precipitation hasn't started. Last-minute supplies go now. By afternoon, conditions deteriorate fast. Ice makes roads impassable quickly. North Carolina, Virginia, you have until tonight. Use the time wisely. Medications, pet food, batteries, firewood if you have a fireplace. Fill your gas tank. Not for travel. For running your car periodically if power goes out. Power outages are a real concern, especially with elderly family or medical needs. Identify your backup plan now. Where do you go if power goes out for days? Who do you call? Don T. Wait until you are sitting in the dark to figure this out. Check on neighbors, older people, people who live alone, people with health issues. Make sure they have what they need. Make sure someone will check on them. Healthcare workers, emergency responders, essential workers told to prepare to stay at work. Pack accordingly. Roads could be impassable for days. Pets and livestock need shelter and unfrozen water. Bring pets inside if possible. Livestock need windbreaks and extra feed. Cold weather increases their caloric needs significantly. People keep asking about the warm nose. Will it melt what's already fallen? No. That warm layer is aloft, between 4 and 8,000 feet. Surface temperatures are well below freezing. The warm nose changes precipitation type, not surface temperature. Snow forms in clouds, falls through the warm layer, melts to rain, then refreezes near the surface. That creates sleet or freezing rain, but it doesn't warm the surface. Your accumulated snow and ice aren't melting until surface temperatures climb above freezing. That's not happening until Monday at earliest for most areas. The other common question, why do the totals keep changing? Forecasting complex systems like this isn't exact. Every model run uses new data, adjusts the forecast. Sometimes adjustments are small, sometimes significant. With this storm, the northern extent of heavy precipitation has trended south with each run. That S-not hype, that S-not clickbait, that S models responding to actual atmospheric conditions. Southern areas are getting hit harder than initially expected. Arkansas and northern Mississippi are seeing totals at or above early forecasts. Middle Tennessee and Kentucky are seeing totals come down because that warm nose is fighting harder than models anticipated. The moisture is there, the cold is there, but they're reproducing mixed precipitation instead of all snow. Watch the forecast closely. Adjust plans accordingly. Don't lock onto a specific snow total from a model run 5 days out. Monday and beyond, this storm moves off the coast. Cold air remains. Temperatures stay below freezing through Tuesday for most areas. Whatever falls this weekend sticks around. The secondary system possibly affecting the Northeast Monday into Tuesday remains uncertain. The GFS shows impressive totals. The European is less enthusiastic. Ensemble members show wide disagreement. We don't know yet. By Sunday evening, we'll have clarity. The pattern remains active and cold. Multiple snow chances next week across various regions. This isn't a one and done. Extended guidance shows the cold pattern persisting through month's end. The polar vortex remains displaced. Arctic air continues spilling south, not a major snowstorm every 3 days. But temperatures well below average and multiple winter weather opportunities. Perspective on this storm. Is it historic? For Arkansas and northern Mississippi, yes. They don't see this combination often. Little Rock could record one of their top 10 snowstorms depending on final totals. For Tennessee and Kentucky, it is significant but not unprecedented. Many of you remember the blizzard of '93, the ice storms of 2009 and 2015. This ranks in that category, memorable and impactful, but not once in a lifetime. For the Carolinas, if totals verify, this is a notable event. 6 to 10 inches shuts down the region. It's been years since they dealt with something like this. The real story isn't a snow totals, it is ice, extended below freezing temperatures, strain on power grids, challenge for emergency services. That's what makes this significant. Final thoughts. If your area isn't getting as much snow as early forecasts suggested, be grateful you are avoiding the ice. Sleet and snow you can shovel. Freezing rain just sits there causing problems. For those with family in affected areas, stay in touch but don't encourage travel. Roads are bad. They'll stay bad for days. Whatever emergency you think exists probably isn't worth the risk. Medical professionals and emergency workers who have to be out in this, thank you. The rest of us stay home. You don't have that option. People depend on you. We appreciate it. This storm has been challenging to forecast. Models struggled with details. That warm nose has complicated everything. But the overall message has been consistent. Significant winter weather for the south and southeast, heavy snow and ice, dangerous travel, power outages possible, extended cold. That hasn't changed. Specific details adjusted. That is forecasting. Stay safe, stay warm. Check on neighbors. Don't drive unless absolutely necessary. If you lose power, have a plan. Updates continue throughout the weekend. The National Weather Service offices are doing excellent work with frequent updates. Monitor forecasts for your specific area. This is a significant winter storm. Treat it seriously, but don't panic. We've dealt with winter weather before.